Yeah, well, I guess for me it started when I was a 7-year-old little girl, and the Lord really spoke to me very clearly in a room, and I could not, I just knew that He had a calling on my life. I knew He asked me to spend all my time in life for Him. And when I was 19, I then decided to move to Africa. So I worked for a year with HIV/AIDS patients in a township, in a slum, which I think impacted my life a lot. After this, then I decided to continue this journey, and I went to a Mission Bible College for 2 years in New Zealand before I then traveled with my husband for a number of years over the world to visit over 30 different mission teams to document their story, their life, the cultures, what they do, so they could mobilize in their home churches. And when my son was 1 year old, we then decided to move down to Australia. And I guess this is where this journey here began. We heard of the church plant. Back then it was Allgate Baptist, how they wanted to plant a church in Littlehampton, and we jumped on board as a family. And the Lord just kept on opening doors and doors and doors, and I guess this is how I got here. I think my heart was always for mission. So when I lived in Africa, I loved it. I loved to be hands-on, get your hands dirty, serve the people, love the people. When I then moved to New Zealand, it was all for mission preparation, and my heart was really to move to Djibouti to work with Somali refugees over the border. So I prepared for that for 5 years of my life full-time, and it was pretty unexpected for me to end up what I would call a mainly white middle-class society in the Adelaide Hills, and be part of a church leadership here. And honestly, I had to probably wrestle through this a bit. What does that mean for my calling? The calling I thought in my mind looked a bit different, but I had to learn that the Lord's calling it's the Lord's calling, and He's calling you to whatever He wants you to do. And sometimes even within a calling, pretty unexpected things can happen. The balance between being a leader and being a friend, and being in this certain role of, okay, Leona is now this leader figure in our church, this is who Leona is, but Leona is also her own person. And how do you balance this when ministry is almost your whole life, right? And where does Leona sometimes fit? And my personal needs. So I guess there's something that I feel stretched by right now, and something that I'm certainly asking other people for their wisdom in the moment, and how to find a healthy balance in it. I feel you always learn, don't you? I feel like the more I'm in ministry, the more I learn, the more I have the feeling I need to learn, the more I read the Bible, the more questions I have. I feel that whatever I do, you start learning, and you think you gain a bit more wisdom, and then another story occurs, or another person with a different personality comes up, and you almost feel like back to square one. And so I think the biggest learning curve for me is always to pray first before you act, to seek the Lord, to ask Him for His wisdom. It's His church, not ours. And to be continuously learning to be more like Him, and learning to stay humble, and learning to let Him do His thing. I think the Lord has been so faithful. I would not say that my journey has always been easy. I think we all experience that ministry can sometimes be pretty difficult and tough and very personal. But the Lord has been faithful the whole way through. Like, He would send me people who had a word of encouragement or a word of wisdom. He would send me almost like a vision or a picture. He would really clearly speak to me through His word, and in my personal prayer time, and gives me His peace beyond understanding, where I sometimes can just be in awe in the midst of chaos, be like, wow, Lord, you see. So I think His faithfulness is just something that I will always celebrate in life.